It's me, Candice. Hi, you. And I'm Happy Catastrophe here. I'm going to do my June 2024 finished pages, but I first kind of wanted to set you up with the mood of what's happening right here around me. I live in a cabin in a temperate rainforest in the Oregon woods in Oregon, West Coast, USA. And Jack, my dog, is over there on his bed with his eyes getting heavy. It's 8:30 in the evening, so the sun is starting to go down. It's not quite down behind the hills. And the trees all around my cabin have, excuse me, I've been outside, have a shadow on all of them. They're starting to get darker. And it's been a hot day, so I've finally been able to turn off my little roll around portable AC and open up all the windows and the French doors. So there's a breeze coming through the small cabin, and I can hear my sprinkler. I let my land grow pretty wild, but it's almost Independence Day here in the United States, and people set off fireworks, and it's very, very dry. So I'm watering everything really good. So I'm sitting here at my favorite place in the cabin, my coffee table in the living room where I do all my coloring and I talk with all my friends. And there's a breeze and I can hear the sprinklers and the crows are just starting to go to bed, so they're only cawing just a little bit. Pretty soon the night birds will come out and I'll be able to hear them. And it's just the most peaceful evening. I just took a shower, which I know it's hard to get the spoons to take care of bodily functions when you're not feeling well, but if you can gather, I know with chronic illness, we have to choose. Like I do, I can feed myself or I can bathe. I can, walk the dog or I can do the laundry, but you can't do both, right? But saving just a few spoons to be able to get in the shower is so worth it. Even if it means you're down the rest of the night, because your body's clean. And I put on my softest pajamas and it feels so good with that nice breeze on my clean skin. So that's where I'm at today. I hope you're cozy and doing your favorite thing. And while we look at my finished pages. So I'm just feeling so peaceful and I'm so glad you're here tonight. So let's start. So this is my coloring journal. You guys have seen this because I'm doing a series right now where we're taking all of these books in the back, my whole inventory of books, and putting them in the new one. That'll, the next step on that, we're going to do all the mythographics and mythogorias. So that'll be a huge chunk of my collection. So we're going to do that, and you'll see that this week as well. But let's look and see what I did in June. And I did a lot. Tell you that right now. I did 5, 10, 14 pages. 10 is my goal. 14 is fantastic. So 4 of those were untouched books. Now, they weren't long-term untouched books. They were brand new books because I was gifted. And at this point, I'm not even sure if this tally is right, but I think 8 new books. I've never gotten 8 books in a month, in 2 months. And in 1 month I was gifted 8 books and you saw it, I gushed, I cried. And so I colored a lot in them. And the ones I didn't get to in June, I'm doing in July. So you're gonna see pages out of all those new books. I did 7 buddy colors. What? I know I say all the time my limit's 5. But I can't, someone gets hold of me and it sounds like fun. And so I say yes. So I had a lot going on there. But again, if I did 14 and 7, I try to do half of my pages be buddy colors. This month in July, I have a lot of buddy colors as well. I think I have 7 again. So I did all these buddy colors and I did a few of my planned pages, but mostly spent it on buddy colors and then just random stuff that popped up because I did get some new books. So let's look and see what I did. Okay. We're going to start off, I like to do them in the order that I did them so you understand my thought process throughout the month. And the first one I did was in Rita Burma's Asian book. I absolutely love this book. This is my only book of hers that I have. I'm not crazy about the seasons books. In fact, I gave away the winter one, but I love these travel around the world ones. So one of these days I'd like to get Europe and Africa. And any in this series. This series is just fantastic. And I did, now I'm not exactly sure why I did this one. It just called to me. I've done quite a bit in here. Well, about 5. I put it on Instagram. There it is. The sushi platter. Why did this I think it called to me because I was wanting to do strawberries. I love fresh strawberries, not the strawberries from the store. Fresh from someone's garden. They're different. They're more flavorful. The ones from the store are, they're cold and they're juicy sometimes and they're satisfying. But they're not like farm picked strawberries. They're a different brand. They're the kind that they're big and they can transport it long distances. The kind of the farms are little and super flavorful. Sometimes they're bigger. The farm my property butts up to an organic farm, so I don't have any neighbors. I just have lots of fields, and then if I walk through their fields, I can get to their farm stand, and that's really nice. So I just walk over there and get strawberries. Or if my legs aren't feeling good that day, I ride my riding mower. And I put the trailer on the back and Jack runs along beside me and we ride our John Deere mower over to the farm. And I go to the farm stand and I buy my vegetables and I put it in the trailer and then I drive home. They laugh at me the first year, but now they're used to it. This is all because you can't use alcohol markers, right? Because it's double-sided. This is water-based markers. And I think that's why another reason I wanted to do this was I'm trying to get better with water-based markers. So they were the base, and then I did polychromos on top. And polychromos works really well in this book, I think. Now, I wanted to just kind of make this sort of like a faded or tea-stained towel that it was on top of. So that's done with crayon and Gamsol. So I basically rub the crayon on like a 6-year-old, and then I take a blending stump. I always have one close by. A blending stump. And I dip it in the Gamsol, and then I let it wait like 5 seconds so it's not just dripping Gamsol, soaks into the paper a bit, and then I blend. And it works really well. Now, I've seen professional artists use Q-tips, but I have found Q-tips don't work in coloring books because the paper is not as good as a professional artist is using. And the Q-tip is too wet. So it just soaks the paper and it'll leave like an oil stain. So these blending stumps are much better. Hold on. One of the farmers' workers, they have interns that come during the summer and then live on their property. And they work the farm, and then they go back home or wherever in the fall and winter. And after work, sometimes they jog the trail along the canal, which goes through my property. I've opened it up so that they can go through my property and make a nice loop. But I'm like, you work all day on a farm and then you go jogging? Oh my God. I can't even imagine that. Not only could I not work on a farm all day, I would need to nap then. I can do 15 minutes worth of work and then nap. Anyway, so I've had this this Gamsol's not super cheap, but it's still half full and I've had it over a year. So all you're doing is dipping into it. This then, when you're using it, gets whatever you're blended on it, and you have to use the best thing. You can use scissors to try to sharpen it, which I do when I'm out of sandpaper blocks. But you can use a sandpaper block. Or if you go on Amazon, they're called sandpaper sharpeners, and they're super cheap. It's just a wooden board with sandpaper stapled to it. You could make one. But you sharpen it with sandpaper. And this lasts forever too, because it's just solid paper. Anywho, these are great. And I use them without Gamsol too. I use them but that takes a lot more pressure because it doesn't melt the medium. So if you're using oil-based pencils, or crayons or something, you can use the Gamsol that will melt it, and then you don't have to push so hard. And you can go back on top and do more coloring, but you can't really do Gamsol again. That's what I just heard on a professional artist YouTube video just last night. This also has some glitter pen in it. I was challenged because I've actually never colored rice, and I wasn't sure how to do it. So because these was sesame seeds, I just sort of, you know, put some yellow on there, but I'm not exactly sure how to color rice. So I'm gonna have to try to find a tutorial or something on that. That goes with coloring white, right? Coloring anything white is hard. And then there's some Posca in there for white accents, and that's about it. I had a really good time with this one. I love the polys on this paper. So that was a good time. So I've been practicing a lot with shading, with basing with a marker, and then going over with pencils. And I really liked it. All right, so that was Rita Berman. The next one was a buddy color. Now this is with Disney Megs, and this was a June-July buddy color because that's what she's doing right now. And so she doesn't have hers done yet. Hers is gonna be done in July. This was an untouched book for me, and this one was not a gift. This one was, this is a book. Sorry, my light's flashing. Let me fix it. It's very sensitive. This was a book that I saw on a lot of people's pages, a lot of people's YouTube videos about their pages, and it was really popular for a hot minute. And I ended up getting it because I got this in lieu of the Japanese bunny book, which I really, really want, but haven't been able to, you know, whip out the money for that. So this is similar, and so I got it. And it's Jade Summer, which I'm told is not AI. And it actually lists who I think is the illustrator and the editor, I think it says on the inside, the name. So it actually puts the names of the illustrator on here. So I believe them, that they're not AI. They're pretty adamant against AI, so I'm cool with that. And Disney Megs and I chose this one because otters are her favorite, and this was her birthday month. So we did her favorite animal, otters. This is something that I don't usually do, right? This kind of really cutesy stuff. And I absolutely had a blast. Now, I was practicing doing glass. So what I was focusing on here was, how do I make it look like I'm looking through the glass to something? Because it looks a little different when you look through glass. And I don't know if I was super successful here. I had more fun down here with the pool, you know, because when I was looking through the pool, it looked a little bit lighter. I don't know why I made the walls darker when you look through glass. That's not very consistent. But I did get better with glass as the month went on. I hadn't done glass for a while, and I'd kind of forgotten how I did it. But I had a really good time with this one. And then I decided, I have this metallic, it's right here. This is just this was a huge set of metallic acrylic paints off of Amazon that I got it. This is Hissico, Hissico. It was super cheap. It's a no-name Chinese brand, basically. It's not great paint, but it needs a lot of coats. But they are pretty colors. I don't use them very much because they aren't great paint, but I need to use the supplies I have. So I'm like, for a page like this, I don't mind that it's not great. And so this is 2 coats, because I just couldn't be bothered to do one more, but it really could use one more. Acrylic paint usually takes a couple coats, but metallic often takes more than 2. It's often like 3 to really get it non-streaky and to look good. But I had a good time with this. So this was a fun page for me. It was pretty easy, except for figuring out the glass. And that was actually the whole point of my whole focal point on this, was figuring out shadows and glass. So I hope you like it. I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing Megan's in July. She's going to do hers. All right, so that was my first buddy of the month. Then I did something that was off of my June coloring plans, and I did mouse guard. I feel like I've told you this already, but there are, right now, the end of June, beginning of July 2024, There are a lot of mouse guards on eBay, which is rare. And 2 of them are under $40, which is with shipping, which is very rare. So if you're interested in getting mouse guard, I would go to eBay right now. And if they're gone, don't go for those $80 ones. Just don't do it. You can watch them though, because then you'll often get sent a coupon. If you just watch, that's a pro tip on eBay. Watch it, put it on your watch list. You'll often get sent a coupon or make an offer. But those $80 ones are never going to come down low enough to make sense. So if it's 40 or under, you've got a good deal, because this is out of print. And I bought mine used, and I had no problems with it. It's like new. And the ones that I saw on eBay right now are like new. So just check it out. And if it's not there, it'll give you the option to save. If you do a search for mouse guard coloring book, it'll give you the option to save this search. And so just save it, and then it'll email you every time one comes up. That's how I find them. And really, I'm only looking just to tell you guys. So I had done this one, and had a really great time. I did Crayola Super Tips on this, and I thought it was fantastic. And then I did the same thing here, and they all bled through. The Crayola Super Tips all bled through. So I don't know what I did different. This was done in February of 23. I don't know, but I did this one. It is darker. Maybe I don't know. I remember really enjoying the Super Tips for this one and being shocked. I did not enjoy the Super Tips on this one. I think I've forgotten how to use that weird nib they have on them. And so it was either streaky or too wet. I couldn't figure out how to, I just don't know how to use Super Tips, like tilt them the right way to use that nib. And I was afraid to use them like watercolor, because this paper isn't, I mean, it's thicker paper than Amazon, but it's not like Kirby. I mean, I don't think it can take a whole lot of water. But but pencils are great on it. So I ended up basing almost everything in Super Tips except her. I started to base and didn't like it, so I did the rest of her all in pencil. Her darker fur does have some Super Tip on there, but the rest is pencil. Her clothing is based and then has pencil. And the pencils I used this time were, I didn't write it down. They're probably polychromos. Yeah. So I really love this book, and I love all of his books. This is his only coloring book. This is David Peterson, but he got his notoriety off of this series of graphic novels about mouse guard, and it's set in medieval times, and he's got epic stories. He's got several graphic novels, and then he did a coloring book, and much of the pages from this are from the Black Axe, that graphic novel, but they're from all of his graphic novels. And so they're basically his drawings, but without color. That's from the Black Axe. Now you can read his books and see his artwork. His coloring is gorgeous, and his artwork is gorgeous, for free. If you download the Kindle app, and it's on the Kindle, it's on Amazon for free on Kindle to read on Kindle. So if you have, but I think you have to have Amazon Prime, right, for that? Anyway, if you have the Kindle app, go on Amazon and Kindle, go on and look up David Peterson, and if you go to the format and you pick Kindle, it says free. So I've just been reading his graphic novels on my iPad. Not the best way to look at a graphic novel, that's for sure, but it's free. And sometimes I find I found this picture. So sometimes I look through the books, and I looked through quite a few of his books to find this picture, but I couldn't find it. And I was getting a little bit seasick from scrolling through his books. So I didn't look through all of them, but I was going to copy the colors in it. I think she is M, M is the old witch mouse, but I never found her in this position, so I don't know what this clothing is, and I don't think anyone in any of the books wears a bright red, but I thought it looked good, so I just went my own way with it. And I was trying to be really realistic over here, and then as I got over here, I was starting to run out of ideas, and I didn't know what half this stuff was, so This is actually really, if you can find the right medium, this is really easy to color because there isn't a lot to color. All the shading's in there for you. And I had a subscriber tell me that to use Distress ink, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to try lots of different things in here. But that was Mouse Guard. All right. And if for some reason I've already shown you that page and I'm just forgetting it, I'm sorry. But I don't think I did. I did it in June. And then I went to the spooky. My Beloved Vengeful Forest. I love this book. And I did a buddy with Brooke, my sweet Brooke. My sweet friend Brooke. This is her IG address. She's a fantastic human being. She is a beautiful human on this planet. And we decided to do, the killer bees. So I'm going to show you Brooke's while I'm looking for this. And this is Brooke's. Hers was phenomenal. Look at the red. Her bees are just so terrifying. Every time I look at it, I get a little scared. I just think her bees are horrifying with those red eyes. But it's so good. And she made it like the skin was sort of dying because who knows what these bees are doing to it. And really, really good. Brooke, that is phenomenal. So she finished hers and sent it to me. And I was like, oh gosh, what do you do? Because bees are yellow and black. And I wasn't sure what to do. So I did this. And some of you have seen this on Instagram. Now, basically what I did here was I did everything but the bees because I didn't know what to do with the bees. So I made this background, this honeycomb thing, basically the colors of honeycomb. And then I added some red in there, especially where the thorns are sticking through. And I made his eyes, kind of messed up, and he looks really horrifying. I did his hair kind of gray, whether he has gray hair or it's going gray, we're not sure. And then I didn't know what to do with the bees and realized I'd kind of painted myself in a corner because I made the background yellow. So I couldn't do them yellow. And I didn't want to do red. I felt like I was copying Brooke, and I didn't know what to do. And then so I just started doing this one, and I thought, well, it looks like he's got some kind of gas mask on. So I did just his face with grays, different kinds of grays. And now I'm using alcohol marker to base, and then I'm using, actually this was pretty much all alcohol markers. I used a little bit of polys around the red. I have a good red poly that I like just for that, but everything else was just alcohol markers. There's no pencil on this. And I did this gas mask thing with the various, I have Copics, and I used the neutral and warm grays. And then I was like, I don't know what else to do. I'll do his eyes with the Sakura Glaze pen, the black Sakura Glaze pen. And then I slept on it. I left it. This had been a few days, and I left it for a couple days. And when I came back, all I had was his face. I was like, you know what? I really just like that. I'm going to make them all just black and white. Like they don't have color. And that was the only thing I could think of that would make them stand out from this really busy background. So I did that, and the more bees I got done, the more I liked it. Now, does it make sense to the story? I don't know. I don't know what the story is here. But I really do like how they now show up, because I made that background so busy. I just kind of got in the zone. I had like 3 different alcohol markers, and I just did the background, and I really kind of just got into a meditative place and just did it. But then when I was done, I was like, oh, holy hell, look how busy that is. How do I make bees stand out? You make them without any color whatsoever. So those are my bees, the killer bees. I really, really enjoyed doing this page. I saw a few other people did this page recently, maybe because it's bees and it reminds you of summer, and they all are great. it's just, Shelley Carroll's artwork is really awesome. And if the horror is not your thing, she's got a mythographic coming out this fall, Magical Apothecary. And so you can enjoy her artwork without it being horrific. So thank you, Brooke, my dear friend Brooke. Thank you so much for buddying with me on this page. It was a lot of fun. All right. So the next one I did, I was still in the spooky mood, Beauty of Horror. Now, there are a couple of us who are doing this one. Carrie K, my friend Carrie K, and Coloring Mom Paula. She's a good friend of mine. Those two, we started it, and then, those two. Three of us decided that we wanted to do something out of this, and we all kind of had different things, and then we wanted to do it. So then I was like, you know what? Why don't we each pick a different page? And then if we have time, we'll also do each other's pages. So it'll be like a 3-page buddy color. So we did. And so I didn't finish theirs, but Carrie K, we always call her that because Instagram, she's one way and YouTube's the other way. So she's Carrie K. She picked the Empress, and I didn't finish it yet. I'm doing Guliana as pastel, but it's a hot mess right now because I didn't have the pastel Tule Arts, and so I used Arctics, which you have to do several layers, and it's more like painting rather than filling in. I don't know. It's messy, but I'm hoping to salvage her. And then Paula, Coloring Mum, did Wheel of Fortune. That was her card. Now, I don't know that I've received any of these. If I have, I'll put them up here because I cannot remember if they finished theirs completely and I've gotten them. I'm pretty sure, I think Paula did, so you'll probably be seeing Paula's right now. But the Wheel of Fortune was the card that we just did in my series Color the Tarot, #Color the Tarot. That's a whole series of videos. Right now we're on the major arcana of the Tarot, and we started with the Fool, and we're up to Wheel of Fortune right now, which is card 10. So there's 11 videos in that series right now. And the next one will be the Tower or Justice. I thought it was the Tower was next. Anyway, the next one in the series will be coming out this month. And I have a lot of videos that I'm doing right now. I know you're seeing a lot of them come out. So it's like 4th or 5th on the list. Okay, the one I chose was the Hermit. We've already done the Hermit in the series. I wanted to do this one because just look at him. He's the bunny man, you know? Virginia's the bunny man. And he is a serial killer is what Alan Robert made him after. And basically that a serial killer is the ultimate hermit. You know, he kills in silence. He kills in solitude, away from people, and then he leaves them, and you know, it's Alan Robert, come on. But he also gave him the bunny mask, which is awesome because of the urban legend of the bunny man. And so I used acrylic markers mostly in here, and a gold felt paint pen. I have a lot of cheap old gold pens, and so it's one of those that I did this gold on. Then the rest of it's all acrylic. I have found that acrylic works really well and is really fast in this book. I think that's all I did. Yeah, it's all acrylic. So I really liked this one. I like the yellow highlights that I did. I think it looks like it's graphic art, or it actually looks like a card. It might be the first one I've made that actually looks like a card, so I really like this one. Yep, so this month, July, I'm going to finish these other two because I really like this book, and this is the entire tarot. He has the entire tarot in here, and it's a fantastic book. Fantastic paper, thick, wonderful book. So I highly recommend it. Then I decided I was ready for something really easy. I just wanted to not think, and so I did A.J. Quinnell's Circulism, and this is Chonk. Sorry to bump the camera. Now, this one was a gift from Melissa Rose. This was back a year ago. It was my first Happy Meal. And I did this frog. Now, I think it's a frog. We saw this because we've gone through my color by numbers in transposing my inventory. And at that time, we all looked at this, and I didn't know what it was. And one of the viewers said they think it is a frog. I didn't know if it was a chicken, a baby chicken, or what. This book is odd because it's the only book of A.J. Connell's I've seen that, but the colors they ask for are strange. They're not necessarily shading colors. They're just colorful colors, but they don't necessarily help make sense of the picture. Now, his other books, it does make sense. They're all very colorful, and they're a lot of fun. But like, why is this pink here amidst the brown? So it's hard to make sense of what this is. And all the animals are chonky. Dogs actually look like that, but like there's a chonky bird. So all the animals, there's my bear with rosacea. So all of them are chonky. So the next one is this penguin. And you know what? It doesn't matter that it doesn't make much sense when it's done, because I do these for the process of doing them. I like the premium paper because then it's nice and shiny black and pens just glide over it. And you just sit here and go circle, 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 circle. And I used acrylic paint pens here, mostly Thule Arts. That might be why it's strange too, because at this point, I only had the earth set, so I'm using earth colors. And then when it calls for something like pink that's not in there, I'm going outside of that set to find a pink in one of my no-name or Arctics. Probably not Arctics because those aren't opaque and you can see the numbers through them. But some of my no-name brands that I'm just trying to get rid of, and that's probably why the colors are odd too. But we know this is a penguin, right? So we'll see how this one turns out. That'll be the next one I do. So that's with a color by number. All right, then next we did a vengeful forest again. Surprise! I know it's scary, but I like it. Honestly, I don't like scary movies. I can't even read scary books anymore. I can barely watch like paranormal ghost hunting. I mean, I can, but anything that's too anything not reality graphic, but things that are like too CGI and too scary, I can't watch it. It just burrows into my brain, and then I have nightmares, and I can't do it. I can't do the jump scares, anything. But when it comes to coloring, I find that the horror coloring is much more interesting than the non-horror. It seems like all of the themes you could possibly have been done in the non-horror. But you jump into horror coloring, and suddenly your world's wide open. I mean, you can color a man-eating plant, or you can color, a human being melting into lava, or, I mean, you can, all sorts of themes that maybe is not in any other book. So I'm finding so many books repetitive. There's a princess, and there's a sunset, and there's, a fish, and there's there's a wedding, and there's, the coffee shop and the cozy spaces, and they're just so repetitive. But a horror coloring book is so different from book to book to book. And that's probably also why I like mythographics as well, because they're imagination central too. So, but even in mythographics, you'll see like turtles with things on their backs. I mean, you'll see some themes that pop up over and over and over. But not in the horror books. Now, the Mythogoria paper, it used to be slightly lesser quality than mythographic, but mythographic has gone down a notch, so they're at the same quality paper now. So when I do my inventory, I'll show you. We'll go in chronological order of the mythographics, and I'll show you what the older paper was like. It was really thick, but now they're all pretty much this paper, which is fine. It's good, and it can handle all kinds of mediums. It's just not, it's not cardstock. So I did this one, and this was another buddy. And tell me, okay, once I tell you this, you're not going to be able to unsee it. So enjoy the picture for what it is right now, and then tell me that that's not someone's middle finger. That's all you can see is that middle finger flipping you off, right? Yep, I know it. I ruined it because that's all I can see too is that middle finger. I wonder if she meant to do that. It sure looks like a middle finger to me. I mean, she could have made it a pinky or a thumb to make it really different, but nah, it looks like a middle finger. So these are Venus flytraps or some sort of carnivorous plant, but they are full of people's fingers and teeth. So this page was picked out by my buddy who was... It's not that I forget. It's just that I have so many, I have to make sure I get the right one. Oh, Coloring Mom. Coloring Mom was my partner in crime for this. And I saw hers first. So let's look at hers. So hers is phenomenal. Really, really, really good. And I was thinking, oh, boy, that's kind of what I was thinking about doing with the page too. Because, you know, it's a Venus flytrap. They're pretty much just the same colors. So I didn't know how to do mine and make it different. And I really wanted to make it different. But I just love hers. Hers, I think, is absolutely cohesive and easy to see, but still frightening. And it's really, really, really good. So then I buckled down and looked at mine, and I realized that I couldn't actually, without looking at Paula's, I couldn't really make sense of what was happening in between the flowers. So I blacked it out. You know, I did Doodle Robots, when in doubt, black it out. But when I did that, it then looked like they were flying in space. So I'm like, well, what if I put like shiny silver dots, like stars sort of? So I did that. And then it looked different. So I did try a variety of stuff to get a different looking plant. This is ridiculously complicated what I did for the effect that came out. It's like I could have done this so much easier for that effect. I mean, it's not that. It's nothing to write home about, but it was ridiculously complicated. It's many layers of gouache. It's Hemi gouache. And so it's different colors of gouache. There's some puke greens and some dirty yellows and things like that. Just trying to make it give that kind of disgusting, scary look to them. It wasn't super effective. I then tried, what did I put on top? Because I know I put something on top. I put, markers. Oh, then I used, there's alcohol marker here too, and there's acrylic markers. So it was a lot of gouache and acrylic. And then the fingers and teeth were all alcohol markers, and so were the flowers. And I don't know, tongues? I don't know what those things are. But yeah, the fly traps themselves, I basically hit a wall. I couldn't get them to look like what I wanted them to look like. And so I just let them be what they were. And I kind of wanted them just this kind of scary puke green, and then look like they had veins running all over them. And I don't know if I achieved that, but I like the fingers. I like the fact that it does have kind of this starry sky background, and it's bright. It's I did sort of a minimal color palette, and I like that. I love the flowers. So yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine. I really don't have pages that I don't like. There are pages that don't quite turn out what I thought they would, and ones I really struggled with, but it's all a learning experience. And at the end of the day, it's always something you can live with. Plus we have hundreds more to color, so let it go. Anyway, so that was that. And that was all that I did in Vengeful Forest last month. However, I have buddies in this month too. I have a few coloring friends that love the spooky, and this is a very popular book amongst spooky colorists just because it is so colorable. It's not too busy. It's really colorable and very interesting. So it is a favorite. Yes, there are dead animals in here, which someone mentioned at one point. However, I think it's more about the decay. None of the animals like they're dead in a forest and they're decaying, which I live in a forest and I see that all the time. So it's nothing that's too icky for me. But there are a couple pages that I won't color, like that one we just saw with the decaying fox. I'm not going to color that. I can color dead people, but I don't want to color dead animals. All right, so after that was a lot of spooky all in a row. So I decided maybe I should cleanse my palette a little bit. come down from the spooky. And this was a gift. Yes, it was. This was a gift from Mindy Bride, who is Carrie K's sister, believe it or not. And she is just as sweet and nice as Carrie K is. Those two, I don't know, maybe I should meet their parents because they're both just such amazing people. And she sent me this, and this is such a great book. Oh my God, I love this book. And I love cats, but I'm not into cats. I'm not going to buy cat coloring books for that. But I have seen flip-throughs of all of Angela Gonzalez, and I have her Under the Sea one, and I love this one. I'm not as crazy about the dog one, but this one is so funny. Every page is great, and I just absolutely love it. So I did the Strawberry Teapot Cat, right. Now, she did hers, so let's look at hers. Isn't it sweet? So pretty. And she did it really fast. So, of course, I got it beforehand. And then I was like, oh, that's so pretty. I just love that I love the subtlety of it and the way, the artistry and the coloring. Her technique is very good. Very, very good. And so her pages are really neat to see because the technique is so good. And just really beautiful. I loved it. So, of course, what do? I grab the nearest clown and vomit color all over the page. But look at those eyeballs. Okay, this is one of the sloppiest colored pages I've ever done. And it's been so long since I've colored in an Angela Gonzalez book, I forgot about the paper. This paper is, oh no. Oh yeah, I remember I did this. I'll tell you about that. I thought for a second I didn't remember I did that, but I did. This paper is so thin, like you can see the next page underneath it. Like it's almost tissue thin. And I forgot how much alcohol markers spread. So I forgot that. I got used to it when I was coloring out of the Under the Sea one, and I was very careful with the markers, just using the tips of my brushes. And I got pretty good at it not bleeding through the lines, but I totally forgot. So I had so much bleeding that I had to then go over it and try to fix it with acrylic to try to sharpen the lines again with my Thule Arts, the earth tone ones I used in here. And, I tried to do I made him have black around his eyes because the orange totally bled into his eyes. I mean, everything was bleeding all over the place. And then while I was coloring, I got done. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not done. I want to put this yellow border on it. And I started coloring yellow, and I forgot to put the page back into the protector page that I use. I use pages from magazines because they don't bleed through. So it's the first time I've ever done this, ever. I've been doing this for a couple years now, and it's the first time I've ever forgotten the blotter page and done this to the page behind. I don't know if that's salvageable. I don't know. But there's a lot of pages in this book. So that'll be a future Candice issue. And again, the strawberries, because I was in a strawberry mood. You'd think by now I'd know how to color them, but no, just red with dots on them. I did get better as the month went on, but I never really did learn how to color strawberry. I did them different every time, but I think it's fun. I think this book is fun. It's really fun. I just need to remember. I was so excited. I need to remember to color gently in this. All right. So thank you, Mindy, for that book. I absolutely love it. The next one, is the book of 2024, which I think we can all agree is Mythographic Wild Summer by Joseph Kattenbang. It is a glorious genius book. It is, in my mind, the best mythographic. I know a lot of people are saying that as well. I've just watched several people's videos, finished pages videos that did pages out of this, and they're all saying that. I'd have to say it's one of the best books put out this year so far. It's phenomenal. And like I said in my July plans video, I know Mythographic is just boom, 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 coming out with all these books, and we're having a hard time affording them all and collecting them all. If you don't buy any this year, buy this one at least. If you've missed a few, that's fine. But this one you're going to want in your collection. And I'm so worried it's going to get sold out because it is so popular. But I can't say enough about this book. So I've done 2 pages in here, but I only did one in June. I finished one tonight for July. So I'm just going to show you the June one. And it's here. No, you know what I want to do? Yes, this is mine. But first, I want to show you my buddies because it's so good. So pretend that you didn't see this because my buddy Mindful Griff, Cindy, look at what she did. Okay, she challenged herself to go with a monochromatic palette and she chose this yellow color, which is really hard. It's hard to go monochromatic with yellow, but look what she did. It's freaking beautiful. And it's absolutely a work of art. It's brilliant. She just tapped into something. It's so beautiful and it's so soothing. And I noticed a lot of people on Instagram. Oh, and Cindy, I kind of hijacked her Instagram because I don't know how Instagram works. And I thought I had been tagged, but when I clicked on it and it took me to the post, I thought it was taking me to my post on it. And so I started answering everybody, but it was her post. Sorry, Cindy. I don't know how things work. But because I was confused, I read all of her comments and everybody was saying that it was dreamy and soothing and peaceful, and it really is. So you look at that and you just feel so restful, which is, I think, the point of a young boy laying in a field looking up at cloud sheep, right? Counting sheep. Then you get to mine. Now, my sheep are obviously going to a rave. There's no, I don't know what he's doing, but my sheep are partying. That's not what I meant to do. So I didn't have the pastel Tuliards. I had Arctics. So I was trying to my vision was to make these clouds pastel, kind of a dreamy pastel, but colors. I did want to make it look different than, I thought of going monochromatic and trying a different color. I thought that would be fun to see the 2 side by side. But then I thought, I really want pink, yellow, and gray. Well, I got a dark pink, a dark kind of blue gray, and a brown yellow. And that's not really pastel. So, but that's what happened. That was what I had. So then I kind of just let everything go. And I took some gold paint. This is the Kuretake Gansai Tambi paint, which I had to do actually 2 coats, and watercolor. So that took a long time. And this is Tule Art down here. And then I used alcohol marker, and this is ink Tule Art as well. But then I used alcohol marker for the flowers and for him and for the bodies of the sheep. White Posca went around. To make it look different, I did white around the floofies here and then the gold around there. I like it. Does it make sense? No, not at all. I don't know what's going on in this page. Why is it so busy? Why? Why is there gold? Why is there this weird blue? Why? What's going on? This would not make me dreamy and restful like this boy seems to be. This would make me worried. What's happening? Is it Armageddon? Is this the horsemen coming? I don't know. But I think it's fun. I just like all the color. I have a hard time with subtlety. Just telling you that. There's a reason my channel and I am called Happy Catastrophe. Oh my gosh, look at that. I missed a petal. I'll have to fix that. Good thing I ran my fixative sprays out. I have to get more. It's a good thing because if I'd fixed that, it'd be white forever. But so yeah, that's my party sheep, my rave sheep. And I don't know. I just can't do subtle muted pastel. I try and I try and I try. Every month I try. And it comes out all over it always comes out bright. I just love bright. So I have 3 left. And guess what 3 books I did? I did. Oh, my entire collection of Hannah Carlson. So, two of these two were both gifted. And then this is one I bought to join in with a group that Doodle Robot 42. She runs a daydreams group where we do a page every other month. I've not participated lately. I wasn't real crazy about the page we just did. So, and I'd pop in and out of those groups. But I did do something this month in this. These two were gifted. So let's start with the Daydreams one. I'm so excited. I have 3 Hannah Carlson books. This is the one I've had for a little while, and not long enough to get paint and ding up the cover a bit. The covers always get dinged up. Okay, in Daydreams, this was a buddy with Gemma, Color Me Gem. And here's her Instagram name. Now, this was blackberries. And let me show you. Okay, this is another one where I need to show you Gemma's first. Because it's beautiful. Look at it. Look at her berries. She did them like real blackberries, that are not quite ripe. So the green really pops and just really, I think that green just sort of makes the whole page. I really like it. And it's just vibrant and pretty. We decided, I didn't know what the animal was. She said it was a possum, but the possums here in North America don't look like that. They're gray and they have really sharp teeth and long pointy faces, and they have tails like rats. They're pink and they're hairless. So, but she said she has possums where she's at that do look like that. So I said, okay, they're possums. But then I think they're the color she made them and not the color I made them. But I thought her page was just so beautiful. So then thing is I had finished my blackberries at that time. And so I showed her mine, and they look very similar. I mean, how different can you color blackberries? And my flowers are exactly like hers. So I wanted to make the page look different. Oh boy. So I did this. I don't know. It looks like I spilled Pepto-Bismol all over the page. So for some reason, now I didn't do the green like she did, but I was kind of wishing I had. It's really cool. For some reason, this pink acrylic was calling to me. I mean, it's put away. I hardly ever use it. It's this horrible pink. But I'm going to make the background pink. And then when I started, I knew it wasn't good. But I just kept going. And it's like 2 coats of it. I mean, I just kept going and going. And so then when I got done, I was like, oh God, what did I do? And so I tried to fix it by putting lots of sparkle stuff on it. So there's like things that look like stars, but they ended up being runny crosses. And then I tried some, this is with metallic watercolor, the Gansai Tambi Starry Nights. So then I tried using some pens, which might be easier. And then I got some metallic Hemi gouache, and oh, holy cow, look at this mess. But I kind of like it. I mean, and then I was like, I can't do brown now. I mean, the background's pink, so I did them gray, like they're some sort of strange bushy-tailed mouse. I don't know, but I made their eyes purple. Yeah, this page just got weirder and weirder. What is it with me and Hannah Carlson pages? It's like all of them become a crazy experiment. I mean, look at this. They all become this, like, I don't do anything subtle anyway, but what I do in Hannah Carlson is crazy. It's like, I feel like the world just opens up. I've got another one in here, and I can just do whatever I want to do. So I do. In these really nice, beautiful books, I do crazy stuff. I don't know why. So, yeah, this is hot pink. So I sent it. I sent it to Gemma. I don't know if it's Gemma or Gemma. I think it's Gemma. I sent it to Gemma. And she was kind. So that's that. One of these days I'll do a normal page in Hannah Carlson, because wait to see the rest of them I did. So this is Seasons. Now, Seasons was a gift from Sarah Simi. Sarah has been very kind to me, and she's a delightful, wonderful person. And we are actually going to probably meet in person this fall. I'm so excited. So Seasons, this one was a group buddy, and I'm going to put, it's with Desiree Bryant, 54, again, Kay Carey, Coloring Mom, Paula, and Veronica Dunn. So I'm going to put their pages here, who's finished them by the time I edit. I know Veronica's finished, and there was one other. So I'm seeing these pages coming through, and I'm like, oh, they're so pretty, and they're so normal. They're so like what you'd expect, but they're still really fun, and just these beautiful colors, and just really talented colorists doing this, you know, a kind of a busy double page spread. And I thought they were beautiful. And then I did mine. Now, I think I'm formulating a theory. It's just that the paper's so good, the artistry's so good, I must feel comfortable in just experimenting. Okay, so this is my what I came up with. So I did this page first. The background is an oil pastel, and I really need to get some fixative. I started with the flowers. Look at how beautiful, if you don't look at the outline, aren't they beautifully subtle? And for them, I was using pencil. In fact, what pencil was I using? I was using my Albert Dürer pencils. So I given up trying to wet them on the page. Instead, I wet a paintbrush, and I take the pigment off the end, like I do with Tim Holtz Distress watercolor pencils. And so I was using them wet. And so it was making this beautiful, you know, like pinky ombre. They were so beautiful. They were. Then I got done with that, and I did some light green ombre stuff on the stems. I'm like, that looks so pretty. Look at that, looking all normal and pretty, and like things fading into things, and so subtle. And then I'm like, I have to do more. And so then I took the acrylic pen and went around it, and I put this bright blue oil pastel in it. And then I did like, oh, I should outline everything. And then like, oh, wait, I should put gold paint in it. And then, oh, wait, I should do her entire hair a river of gold. And then I'd put, well, I have that gold, so put more gold. So there's gold in the strawberries, and there's gold in the very colorful butterfly. And suddenly my soft kind of pastel pretty page was crazy, which is what always happens. So then I was like, well, now we're going to this side, and we're doing the same. And this gold, to make this gold this opaque, it was 3 coats. This is a really, I have it right here. I know where it is. It's right here. Someone asked me, one of the gals in the group asked me what I use for the gold. Look at that font. Like, I don't even know how old this is. Deco Art, metallic paint, dazzling metallics. But I mean, I wish I could find a date on it, because this font is old font. I found it in a drawer somewhere. It possibly could have been in the house when I moved in, and it was left over from, I don't know. It's supposed to paint on everything, but it's very old. So I don't know if it's because it's old or it's because of the paint, but it takes a lot of coats. However, it was cheap to free, and once you do a lot of coats, it's really neat, actually. I like it. So she's got a lot of shimmery gold. And then I liked the berries. I did everything here. And then I got to her headpiece and her skin, and for some reason, I know why, I was tired of this color palette. So I just grabbed new colors and did her headpiece in a completely different palette. Once I got done, I was like, oh no. Why didn't I just like stick it out and do these colors? It would have been so cohesive and cool. But no, I pulled out completely different tones, completely different temperature of colors, and look at that. That doesn't match anything on the page. It's not even the same pinks. But I didn't really notice it at the time. I just was tired of these colors. And I did her earrings in the same, so maybe that helps. I don't know. I didn't even do this jewelry in those tones. So basically it's just these three things. And then I'm like, okay, I want her to be green, but didn't take into account that the sky was blue, and I didn't want her to fade into the sky. And by then I was just like, let's just get her done. So I used, I think this is Albrecht Dürer Dry. Or no, it could be I think it's Polychromos. I wouldn't have tried to do skin with Albrecht Dürer. So I think this is Polychromos that I did this. But when I got done, I realized I don't think that green, I think it clashes with the sky. So the whole page is just one big crazy mess. But again, I kind of like it. You know, there's nothing not to like. It's not very cohesive. It's got a lot of things that outright clash. I mean, look, this piece of jewelry and this piece of jewelry, nobody in their right mind would wear those two things together. And why are these leaves so subtle? I don't know, when everything else is so bold. But I had so much fun. These books are amazing. The artwork is so much fun. And I talked about this in my coloring plans video. I think it's because she gives you space to experiment. There's a lot going on, but it's not tiny, tiny detailed. Like there's space in these leaves too. And you give me space and I'm gonna go wild. Because I'm gonna try all kinds of things to fill up the space. Give me a detailed page and it's gonna look like what it is. Give me space in a page and I'm gonna monkey it up. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's my very strange lady, but I like her. Now this was an untouched book because it was a gift, and I'm so excited to do more in this. I keep promising the people who have given me these Hannah Carlsons that I swear the next one will be better. It won't be so crazy. But then again, I'm Candice, so here we are in the last pages I did. Tales from the Witch's Cottage. Now this one is my friend Brooke. Brooke gave me this. This one's smaller. She must have changed her size as Hannah Carlson did. I've heard she did at one point. I love this book. This one might be my favorite Hannah Carlson. I love every single page in it. At the same time I was gifted this, I was gifted a set of the pastel Thule Arts. So what did I do? I mashed them together and I did this. No, I'm not getting subtle yet. Not getting sweet and dreamy and subtle yet. No. I saw this in a flip through and I was like, I want to test out those pens on this because they were the medium nib and I hadn't had that. And I thought this would be a great page to test them out. And I did. And I have decided that it isn't the nib that makes Thule Arts a little bit difficult. See, Thule Arts will tear pages. You have to be really careful. And I thought it was the pointy nib on the fines. So I did the mediums. The mediums will tear your page too. It's two things. One, they are super juicy, which is what makes them the best, right? Because they're super juicy. But they're so juicy that they will wet the page. And if you're not careful, that can happen. But they can bleed through a bit. But they can thin the paper and they can tear it because they can disintegrate paper because they're so wet. The other thing is their nibs are rough. And so you get, which is nice because then you have some friction, but you get really wet paint and a rough nib, and you can get some roughing up of your paper. So you just have to be careful. So I started here, and by the time I kind of got over here, I was getting used to them. And I love them. I love them to pieces. And then the faces and the scream faces I did, that's all with the Sakura glaze pens. Isn't it fun? I thought it was fun. I liked it. I did. It was crazy. But then I like to do Hannah Carlzon. I like to do both sides. So I was like, well, I have to do her with the same pens. So I did her hair with those pens. But then I realized I can't do more pastel. I can't. So I just worked on the rest of her like I normally would. There's a lot of acrylic on here. It's all acrylic. It's all acrylic except her skin. And her skin is... What pencils are those? Did I write it down? Why do I not write down? Oh, Color. I had put those away and had forgotten how much I like them. I pulled them out because I didn't know what color to do her skin, and I've got the giant set of colors, like the biggest one they have. And they work so well on this paper. I like them as much as I like the polychromos on this paper. They worked so well. I enjoyed doing this skin, and I made her kind of like this non-human pinky look, and it came out exactly what I wanted. And now I forgot how much I love them. I was thinking the Spira Farbens were my favorite budget pencil, but I don't know. Those colors are really good. So those two are both great brands. I'm not as crazy about my Black Widows anymore, after I play with those. So the colors are now out. They're out and about, and I'm using them a lot now because that was really fun. And then again, here is that metallic paint that I keep trying to use. It needs 3 coats. I put 2 coats, and then I was done. I couldn't do it again. But I think together, the two look good together. I think they do. But again, now I have a pastel clown that's vomited on the page. My coloring this month was crazy. But I think it reflected the mood I was in because of these wonderful gifts that I've been receiving. And the gifts, all these are gifts. This was a gift, I don't think I said, but my dear friend Tammy Colors 2 gifted me this, and I'm just coloring like crazy in it. These gifts have just infused me with this energy. I know it sounds really woo-woo and weird, but I'm coloring like crazy now, and I'm just so happy and joyous that I'm experimenting a lot, and I just feel like there's abundance around me, I guess, and so I'm just color. Now, I've taken off in July, and I've already finished 2.5 pages, and it's only July 2nd, but they are calmer. So maybe I'm calming down. I don't know. But, or maybe you guys will just get more clown vomit next month, and we'll call it good. So thank you very much for coloring with me this month. I had a lot of buddies. I feel like I might have missed some, and if I have, hopefully I would have caught it during edit. And thank you so much for all of your support of my channel. You are beautiful people. Have a wonderful, peaceful evening. All right. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.